Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for another edition of the Great Vermont Barn Dance. This harkens back to a time when musicians and dancers and storytellers would all gather and mingle and produce something really special in a local spot that was unique for that place, and that's what we do here. In the old days, it would have been on the radio waves, but now we do it through streaming. We've got, okay, it's a concession, it's high-tech, we know, but that's what we do these days. And we all gather around one microphone, we enjoy the music, we enjoy the dancing, and hopefully we all leave feeling a little better than we did when we came. I know Ben's going to feel better because he'll be able to get out of those clothes. So we have a wonderful show for you today. We have a marvelous mix of storytelling and dancing and music, and don't forget about the steam whistle. Ladies and gentlemen, this actually looks like a wooden box, but in fact, it's a cue. It is a steam whistle. It's a cue that when you hear this, clap like your mother's life depended on it. Check it out. Here we go. I hope Mom's okay. One more time. That was better. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. And now, without further ado, your creator and host for this wacky adventure, Rick Palieri.
I'm remembering the days where I went away, way back in the hills of old Vermont. And the orchard on the hill, I think I see it still, way back in the hills of old Vermont. Oh, tonight I long to be where the catamount run free, the rattlesnake can lie out in the sun, near the voices of the loons when the apple blossoms bloom, way back in the hills of old Vermont. There used to be a barn near the old fishing pond, way back in the hills of old Vermont. So many fields of hay, now gone with yesterday, way back in the hills of old Vermont. Oh, tonight I long to be where the catamount run free, the rattlesnake can lie out in the sun, near the voices of the loons when the apple blossoms bloom, way back in the hills of old Vermont. Well, everything has changed, nothing stays the same, way back in the hills of old Vermont. Like the old brown panther's roar, you won't hear that no more, way back in the hills of old Vermont. Oh, tonight I long to be where the catamount run free, and the rattlesnake can lie out in the sun, near the voices of the loons when the apple blossoms bloom, way back in the hills of old Vermont. Wait, Dave Goodrich! Where the catamount run free, and the rattlesnake can lie out in the sun, near the voices of the loons when the apple blossoms bloom, way back in the hills of old Vermont. But when the rains came down and flooded many towns, way back in the hills of old Vermont, all the neighbors lent a hand for the loving of the land, way back in the hills of old Vermont. Oh, tonight I long to be where the catamount run free, and the rattlesnake can lie out in the sun, near the voices of the loons when the apple blossoms bloom, way back in the hills of old Vermont. All right. Well, thank you, folks. Thank you, Dave Goodrich. Well, it's my pleasure to have all of you here in the historic Heinsberg Town Hall. It's pretty muggy today, isn't it? And these brave folks have come out because they want to be part of this kind of community where we care about things like old stories and old songs. And we get together, no matter what our political thoughts are, we get together because we know that building community takes all kinds of people. So you're all welcome to be here today at the Great Vermont Barn Dance Show. And I have a special treat for you folks. When I was putting together the program, I was thinking of an act that was very special friends to me. They're hiding over there. They're usually showcasing. Hungry Town, they travel all over the world. If you're a friend of them, you know that their music has been heard from all over Europe, all over the United States. But they live right here in good old Vermont. And we're going to bring them out right now. Right, Brian?
Thanks so much, Rick. It's a pleasure to be here at the Great Vermont Barn Dance. And Ken and since it's such a hot day, we wanted to play for you a song that we wrote after a really chilly winter, and just keep that thought of snow in your mind, a cooling song for a hot day. This is called Lucille, Lucille.
Lucille, Lucille, I'm coming home to take you for a ride. These winter days have ground me down, and I long to see you smile. Lucille, Lucille, I don't know why this world should treat me so. For all my sins I must have paid by now. Why won't they let me go? Lucille, Lucille, you teach the sun to swim across the sky. You make the rivers all to run, and the autumn wind to sigh. A man would walk 1,000 miles to stand outside your door. Oh, won't you turn your pretty head and smile on me once more?
Well, one of the things that we'd like to do, they're going to be playing, they're our featured act. You're a featured act because they've traveled so far to come here. And I just wanted to kind of give people an idea, just tell them a little bit about the kind of things you've been doing. They do have CDs and T-shirts.
Yes.
T-shirts out over here. So if you want to take a little bit of them home today,
Yes. In case you're wearing a long sleeve shirt and you'd like to just cool off a little bit, T-shirts
Nice
are
and
there.
cool and comfortable.
Yes.
So Rebecca Hall and Ken Anderson make up Hungry Town. And why don't you tell them a little bit about the kind of things that you've been doing?
Okay, well, it's been a busy year for us. We just got back from a bunch of different tours. We usually do a winter tour every year. We do the southern part of the United States.
I wonder why.
I know.
In January,
I know.
February, and March.
and then we were home for a little while, and then went overseas to Germany and the UK. And I think we were actually in Germany right around the same time that Rick was over there.
We missed each other by that much.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, one of these days we'll all meet up at the same time.
We'll have a nice schnitzel together.
Yeah.
Schnitzel together. Yeah.
So yeah, but it's we do live in southern Vermont in West Townsend, and it's always wonderful for us to have a concert in our home state. We really appreciate that, and we appreciate all of you guys coming out.
And we like coming here just because we like to drive up from southern Vermont.
Exactly.
It's so beautiful.
All right, so we're going to be seeing and hearing a lot more of Hungry Town later on in the program. Let's give them a hand right now. All right, let's go back.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, and now if everyone in our studio or in our town hall audience would look around and look at all these people that seem dramatically overdressed. They are actually members of the Green Mountain Volunteers folk dance group, and they do it old style, shall we say, all the way down to the buttons on their clothing. They've been doing this so long that I understand that probably some of the outfits had to be let out over the years, but. They're headed up by our friend Ben Bergstrom and the musicians over here. We have Jason Bergman and April Werner and David Carpenter and Susie Hurd, and it's really a wonderful thing. So please put your hands together and welcome the Green Mountain Volunteers.
we're doing is we're taking social dance and try to put it on the stage, which is always a challenge because you do something more than once and people go, okay. So this next dance we're going to do, although it has traditional elements, was written for the stage. So it constantly is moving, keeping the audience involved. And we call it the Inside Out Square. Let's go over here. Second. And circle it. The other way back. Couple one up, couple three down. Ladies in, gents right. Gents reverse. Forward, basket. And circle. Ladies, right hand star. And don't see nose, the opposite. And swing. Gents, left hand star. To your partner. And swing. Nominate half, play around to home. Don't see nose, your partner. Also, left. The other way back. Couple two up, couple four under. Gents, circle left, ladies right. Little ladies reverse. Forward basket. And circle. Little ladies, right hand star. To the opposite, go. And swing. Yes, left hand star. To your partner. And swing. Promenade home. Your corner goes to go. Circle to the left. The other way back. Three up, one down. Ladies in, yes, right. Yes, reverse. Forward, back, basket. One, two, three, sprint. Four ladies, right hand start. Opposite, go see over the swing. Yes, left hand start. Your partner goes. And swing. One more time. Circle left. And back. Four up, two down. Next in, ladies right. Little ladies reverse. Basket.
And that, as they say, ladies and gentlemen, is how it's done. Once again, thanks to Ben Bergstrom and the Green Mountain Volunteers. Now next up, we have somebody would have to be considered a true, Heinsberg gem. Unknown to me until I first heard him come and tell stories about 6 months ago. And you're in for a real treat. Please, everyone, put your hands together for our friend Bill Torrey.
Hello, everybody. I'm sweating like the pig that knows his dinner. Anyway, but back when I was a kid, these hot summer days always meant a lot to me. And I had a friend that lived across the road from me. His name was Luke Bouchard. He was about 3 years older than me. He's kind of like a mentor. Always looked up to him. Now, they say that genius has its limitations, but stupid can go full throttle. And that pretty much explained Luke. Luke was always doing some dumbass stunt, usually involving some near-death experience. For instance, one of these summer nights, just like we're having, a bunch of us kids were hanging out at the Bouchards, waiting for it to get dark enough to play hide and seek. When Luke went inside, and he comes out with a bow and arrow. And my sister says to him, "What you going to do with that, play Robin Hood?" He said, "No, I thought I'd do this." And he put the arrow on the string and went, phew, right straight up into that dark night sky. Well, that got the attention of us 7 to 8 kids. They were gawking real quick. And we ran screaming for the open garage door about 50 feet away, but not Luke. Luke just stood there, laughing, watching us go, and that arrow come whizzing out of the night sky and boom, missed him by 10, 15 feet. He went over and pulled it up, and my sister come out. All of us come boiling out, boy, and she went right up to Luke, and she says, "What are you trying to do? Kill somebody, you big dumb weenie?" And he says, "I'm a big dumb weenie? If I'm a big dumb weenie, that makes all of you Tata weenies." She says, "Tata weenies?" He said, "Yeah, as in Tata, you weenies," and went phew, right straight up into the night sky again with that arrow to an instant replay of us kids screaming and running for that garage door like our hair was on fire. But not Luke. He just sat there watching us go like the moron we knew he was, and that arrow once again comes screaming out of the dark sky, phew, missed him by a dozen feet. Well, the term Tata weenie came into vogue. From early morning swimming lessons to evening Little League, kids were calling each other Tata weenies at the drop of a hat, mostly because it's so darn much fun to say. Go ahead, try it. No, you're gonna. Well, it was in this, and there's some good variables to it. You can kind of shorten it, just call somebody a Tata. "You dumb Tata." Like they don't deserve the full weenie. Or you can speed it up, kind of give it an evil accent. "You Tata weenie." It's very versatile. Well, it was in this fevered pitch of popularity that the Tata Weenie Club was born. Rules to join the club were very simple. All you had to do was perform a feat of stupidity that allowed you to be called a Tata Weenie. The drawback was who was picking out that stunt, because Lou appointed himself the Grand High Tata and ruled with supreme authority. Now, if once you perform your feat, you got your official Tata Weenie hat, which was a triangle-shaped head covering made of newspaper with your official Tata Weenie number written on the side in black magic marker. And it was a strict club rule. You had to wear your hat to the club meetings that were held in the haymow of my barn. Now, our barn was a complex labyrinth of tunnels and rooms that us kids had burrowed in the hay there. My dad called them Burmese tiger pits. We had the Tata Weenie post office, the Tata Weenie jail, and one that we just called the fart room. Competition to join the ranks of the Tata Weenie was fierce. There wasn't nothing that we wouldn't do, no matter how stupid or embarrassing, to get into the elite ranks of the Tata Weenies. Which brings us to my feat of stupidity. It seemed we had a hay bale archery target in the little field between the Yandos and the Bouchards across the road from my house. And Mrs. Yando was always complaining that that archery target was nothing but an accident waiting to happen. Well, we decided to end her waiting. Our crack team of Tatawini engineers designed a leather belt through which they passed a small screw into the sawed-off end of half an arrow. They strapped this around my bare chest with the feathered end of the arrow sticking out, cut a hole in my shirt, placed my shirt over it, and then we lathered it up appropriately with ketchup. On the appointed day, I staggered into Mrs. Yando's kitchen, flopped onto the floor, gasping like a guppy. Now, I was really selling it. Well, she was relaxing, reading the newspaper, having a cup of coffee there, and to say that we got the desired results would be more than fair. More than fair. However, I soon found that there was a flaw in my plan, and that was that the lack of an escape route once she discovered what I had done, because she grabbed me right by the ear, dragged my carcass across the road to my house with the arrow still sticking out of me, and had me explain to my parents what I had done. And this resulted, of course, in a confiscation of my bow and arrow for 2 weeks, which is, during this time, I learned how to make and throw a spear properly. Well, mercifully, I did get into the club. I was awarded the lucky number 13, Tatawini. I still remember that swearing-in ceremony. I think we all even teared up a bit, mostly because it was held in the front room and it was right after Frank and Bean night. The lifespan of the Tatawini was just one short, sweet summer. We soon found other more derogatory names to call each other, but nobody wants to belong to a club called the Peckerheads. But to this day, whenever I do some foolish feat or I see somebody else perform some stupid stunt, I hear this little voice right in the back of my head that says, "You dumbass Tatawini." Because I firmly believe that there is a little Tatawini in each and every one of us. Thanks for hearing me out.
You know, Bill, this is you're getting to be a veteran here on the Great Vermont Barn Dance. You've been here a couple of times, and I think that it's important for people to realize the importance of storytelling, and you've been carrying this on for a long time, haven't you?
Yes, my family moved here in 1767. We're Vermont right from the toenails up. And yeah, we tell stories. We've always told stories. My dad always told a lot of stories. It's how we tell stories since when we first string a sentence together. We're all telling stories to each other.
And you do a lot of storytelling around this area, don't you?
Yes, I do. I've done a lot I do a lot for assisted living places and things like that. And a lot of my stories, I've worked in the woods 40 years, so I have a lot of logging stories that I can tell and stuff and everything. And so yeah, I've been on NPR's Moth down in Boston on the Moth main stage where I told the 1,200 people. I'll tell the 10 or 1,200. Don't matter to me.
Well, it's always good to have you on here, and let's give Bill a big hand. All right, thanks a lot, Bill.
Thanks a lot, Rick.
All right. So.
We can't put on a show like this without actually having sponsors. Oh, incidentally, folks, I had a unique experience that just happened to me just before Bill told that story. He asked me, "Can you remember what story I told the first time I was here?" Well, no, I remember the one you told last time. No, what about the first time? I don't think I remember. And then the immortal phrase, "Does the phrase Tatawini mean anything to you?" And I had to confess, no, it really didn't. But And I don't expect that'll ever happen again. I think that'll be good. Our sponsors, ladies and gentlemen, we can't do a show like this without sponsors. Incidentally, you're all welcome to be sponsors. We have a donation bucket over there if you feel so inclined. But we actually have honest to goodness sponsors. For instance, this lovely device into which I'm speaking is an ear trumpet microphone, the pride of Portland, Oregon. Highly sought after, very, very rarely owned, and we're lucky to have it. We also have Randy Wood's Pick and Parlor, which was the creator of everybody's favorite steamboat whistle. Oh, they're so well trained. And our new banner behind us was created by my best friend Dave Goodrich, who's a man of many talents, most of which he's underpaid for. I can add that as well. And don't forget about the town of Heinsberg and our long-suffering Jen McEwen, who's head of the rec department, and the person we have to talk to actually get to use this space. It's very much appreciated, and we couldn't do it without it. There's one other person that we have to mention. That's our friend Jeff Miller over there, who helped create our brand new backdrop back here, ladies and gentlemen. It's a thing of beauty and much more portable than the plywood one before. Give them a hand, folks. And what's that? Oh, and don't forget, we also have our friends from VCAM here who are filming this and streaming it for us, and it's a really nice thing. We really appreciate it. Give them a big hand as well. And Jude, who's running everything.
All right. This song is about hobos. When I talk about hobos, I'm not talking about bums. I'm talking about conscientious belingerers, you know. That's what they call them.
Migrant workers is what you might call them these days.
And I hung out with a lot of the old hobos, and one of the things that they all worry about is riding the westbound. You catch that westbound, you get that last ride up to heaven. You don't want to catch the westbound if you can help it. So we're going to do this song. Ready? I live my life as a hobo. My only home is this old train. I've been a frog and a king. Lord, I done everything. Now I'm riding on that westbound train. Let jungle fires burn wild and free, and pass my bottle around. Let the train whistle blow, tell the old boys I'm a-riding on the westbound. I slept in every old boxcar. I rode down every railroad line. Now I don't have to boast, I rode coast to coast. Now I'm riding on that old westbound. Let jungle fires burn wild and free, and pass my bottle around. Let the train whistle blow, tell the old boys I'm a-riding on the westbound. Light a candle at the back of my boxcar and gather my good friends around. Let the old banjo ring while the hobos all sing. I'm a-riding on the westbound. Let the jungle fires burn wild and free, and pass my bottle around. Let the train whistle blow, tell the old boys I'm a-riding on the westbound. Do it, Brian. Jungle fires burn wild and free, and pass my bottle around. Let the train whistle blow, tell the old boys I'm a-riding on the westbound. Let a blanket on the boxcar, yeah, gather them good friends around. Let the old banjo ring while the hobos all sing. I'm a-riding on the westbound. Do it now. Let the jungle fires burn wild and free, tray and pass my bottle around. Let the train whistle blow, tell the old boat I'm a-riding on the westbound. I'm a-riding on the westbound. I'm a-riding on the westbound.
There you go.
All right.
Sounds a hunger song?
Yeah. Always feels good to get that out of the way, doesn't it? I tell you. Well, folks, once again, please welcome back to the stage, Hungry Town.
Thanks, Brian. That's actually appropriate for our next song.
For Hardway to Learn.
Oh, for our second song.
Yes.
Are you ready?
Yes.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Thank you. Oh, yay. Thanks, Brian. So, very quick. Ken and I actually write all of our own songs. And so, and can we hear actually that whistle again, Brian? Sure. Just one more time, because...
Well done.
Well, when we saw that you had that, we decided to do this next song, which is sort of a summertime themed song. It was written about an instrument that you hear sometimes on old riverboat steamers or sometimes at old fairgrounds, and it's called a Calliope, and it's also a steam-powered instrument. So this is our song called Calliope.
Music of the carousel echoes a sweet refrain of fairground scenes from days gone by, and how we used to play. My horse is faded silver, yours is white and where we'll stop, who's to know? You're always half a length ahead, no matter how well I ride. And the further I stretch to grasp the ring, the more I start to slide. Play on, Calliope, I hear you winding low. Our ride is only just begun, we've still got so far to go.
Yes, Rebecca Hall and Ken Anderson, Hungry Town, up from West Townsend, Vermont. And now again, we have a fresh act to bring out. When I happened to stop in Vermont over 30 years ago, these people were the musicians that I wanted to grow up and turn into. Lazon Allen and Rick Sabalas. Welcome them, folks.
Well, hello, folks. It's so nice to be here today. So hello to all you here, and hello to all you out there, wherever you are. Here's our take on a classical English folk tune called the Cuckoo. She's a pretty bird, and she warbles as she flies, and she never hollers cuckoo till the 4th day of July. Jack of diamonds, I know you of old, for you robbed my poor pockets of the silver and the gold. I've played cards in England, and I played cards down East Main. And I'll bet you $10 that I'll beat you very next game. Oh, the cuckoo, she's a pretty bird, and she warbles as she flies, and she never hollers cuckoo till the 4th day of July.
Let's hear that, banjo.
My horses ain't hungry, they won't eat your hay, so I'll ride on a little further, and I'll feed them on the way. Oh, the cuckoo, she's a pretty bird, and she warbles as she flies, and she never hollers cuckoo till the 4th day of July. She's a pretty bird, and she warbles as she flies, and she never hollers cuckoo till the 4th day of July. Oh, the cuckoo, she's a pretty bird, and she warbles as she flies, and she never hollers cuckoo till the 4th day of July. Hey, thank you. I think I'm close to tune. So here, this next tune is one that you probably all know from the 1960s. It was a top 40 hit by the Rooftop Singers, but it's a tune that was actually written in the 1930s by an African-American banjo player by the name of Gus Cannon, played with a group called the Jug Stompers. So from Gus Cannon and the Jug Stompers, here's a tune called Walk Right In. Sing it if you know it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Walk right in, you sit right down. Daddy, let your mind roll on. Walk right in and you sit right down. Daddy, let your mind roll on. Well, now everybody's talking about that new way of walking. Do you want to lose your mind? Well, you walk right in and you sit right down. Daddy, let your mind roll on. Well, you walk right in and you sit right down. Baby, let your hair hang down, hang down. Walk right in and you sit right down. Baby, let your hair hang down. Well, now everybody's prancing about that new way of dancing. Do you want to lose your mind? Well, you walk right in and you sit right down. Baby, let your hair hang down. Walk right in and you sit right down. Baby, turn your lamp down low. Walk right in and you sit right down. Baby, turn your lamp down low. Well, now everybody's missing that new way of kissing. Do you want to lose your mind? Well, you walk right in and you sit right down. Baby, turn your lamp down low. Oh, yeah. Walk right in and you sit right down. Everybody, Daddy, let your mind roll on. Walk right in and you sit right down. Daddy, let your mind roll on. Now everybody's talking about that new way of walking. Do you want to lose your mind? Well, you walk right in and you sit right down. Daddy, let your mind roll on.
I said it now.
Daddy, let your mind roll on. One more time. Daddy, let your mind roll on. So now, put on my main crusher, I'm going to tell you a couple of stories, and these are poem stories that are written by a fellow by the name of Holman Day, who was a Maine storyteller, poet, novelist, raconteur, born in the late 1800s, wrote mostly in the early 1900s, and he wrote what he called stories of unplaned human nature. And so here's one that is called Aunt Jemime's Pants, and it comes from his group of stories called Up in Maine, and it's in the chapter titled Our Great Prevaricators. So it gives you a little idea. It's a tall tale. Aunt Jemime's Pants, and I accent it with the old fiddle tune called Leather Breeches, and you'll see why once the story is over. Aunt Jemime Brown was a spinster, spinner weaver of merited renown. Well, our town set it down as a fact beyond disputing. Well, there was never any suiting like the suiting that was made by Spinster Brown. She raised the wool she made it of. She even raised the sheep. Fed him on the toughest straw that the hired man could reap. She made the thread of a double twist. She made the warp and a woof so tarnal tough it almost seemed 'twas almost bulletproof. And when the cloth was shrunk and dyed and ready for a suit, why, the men in town, they'd nearly fight they'd get in such dispute concerning who had spoken first, the furthest in advance, and therefore had the prior claim to Aunt Jemime's pants. Oh, the stuff they make nowadays is skimpy, sleazy stuff. It's colored up in fairish style and fashionable enough, but blame the goods, it's made to sell. It isn't made to wear. This pair of pants here, I've had for 5 years, and that is merely fair. Why, when you bought a cut of cloth of Aunt Jemime's weave, you got some stuff to see you through, you better just believe. Why, about the time a pair of modern pants getting worn and thin, well, a pair of Aunt Jemime's pants is barely broken in. I got a pair up the attic right now, made 40 years ago, and time has made no show. They've borne the brunt of honest work and dulled the tooth of the moth, and there they stand, stiff as a slab, good plain old-fashioned cloth. And so I think it only right that tribute should be paid to those sturdy old pioneers, the pants Jemime made. Now, the first day I had on those pants, I held a breakup plow. Farmers of these latter days don't have such rassles now. I held 6 oxen on ahead, a pretty hefty team for farming in those old days. Took muscle, grit, and steam. Well, you didn't stop for every rock and dodge and skive and skip, or else you'd have to lug your meals on every furrow's trip. So the only thing to do was make the oxen tread and hold the plowshares deep and true and plunker straight ahead. So back and forth I plowed that day, and I tackled every rock and snag that dared dispute my way, until the only critter left was one old maple stump. And I gave the team the gad, and I took her on the jump. She splits in two, and through I went, but back she slaps, kerwhack, and grabs Jemime's pantaloons right where she'd left the slack. The team was going double quick. The oxen plunged along. I gripped those old oak handlebars. I gripped them good and strong, but there I was, the living link neath the plow and the stump, because those pants, they held there good and tight between those maple jaws. Well, Jemime, she made them solid, but she gave no guarantee, but they could stand a yank like that. But still, I clung, and I yelled, and those oxen plunged and tussled. And Jemime's pants, they held. And that stump, it came out a kicking, roots and stones and dirt and all. And Well, those pants weren't even started by that most tremendous haul. And to prove this air is truthful, should some scoffer cast a doubt, well, I've saved the chips and the Ewings, where they come and chop me out. Aunt Brown, Jemimy Brown, was a spinster, spinner weaver of merited renown. Our town set it down as a fact, beyond disputing, there was never any suiting like the suiting that was made by Spinster Brown. Jemimy's pants. This is another one of his kind of tall tales, I guess. This is called Busted to Test Your Strength. And if you remember what the test your strength is, that's that thing at the county fair where you get the mallet and you hit it and you hope that the little ball goes up and hits the bell, and rings the bell. Well, this is Pa's experience. Busted to test your strength. When Pa went down to Topsam Fair, I snooped around and I heard him swear to Jotham Briggs that it seemed to him that muscle nowadays was slim. For he said he'd stood there for quite a length watching folks whang at that test your strength, and there wasn't one in all that spell who'd hit a crack that tapped that bell. And Pa, he spoke loud, and he sassed the crowd, and the crowd, they sassed Pa. Well, and he allowed that he'd show 'em what, and so old Jote held his hat and his vest and his coat. He rolled his sleeves up tight, pulled out his jaw and took a bite, whirled one arm round in windmill style, then whirled the other one round a while, then picked his pestle out at length and sassed that great tall test your strength. "I'll soak ye now," says Pa, "while you'd think it was the earthquakes by the jar. So get out the way and give me swing, and I'll bust the Hazlitt out of that thing." So Pa, he spits both his fists, give that handle 2 or 3 twists, swing that pestle round and round to give her one big gall-ripping pound. His knee was up against his chin, his eyes bugged out, his lips sucked in, and down he fetched her with a holt. But Pa, he missed his holt. He lost his grip, that pestle flew, and folks, they scattered, I'll tell you. Some fell down and the others ducked, and those far off, by gosh, they hucked. For that air pestle, sir, come a sky-hootin' like a 10-inch bomb. Landed more'n 8 rod away, right through the top of Drew's new shay, right twixt the gal and Esri Drew. And holly gee, it scared 'em blue. And Pa, he turned green. He looked at Ez and then at that machine and hemmed and stuttered out at length, Well, I aimed it at that test your strength." "Good eye," says Ez, mad as sin. And then he snorted. Drunk again.
Another round of applause from Rick Sabalos and Lazan Allen. Definitely a pleasure. And now, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, welcome back to the stage the Green Mountain Volunteers in their lovely period garb.
Everyone ready? Let's do the Tempest. Hope everyone remembers it. So folks, what you're going to see now is a medley of dances. It's going to be a 4-couple mixer, and we're going to go right into, you saw the square, the first part, this is a double-sized square. There's going to be 16 people, and Fur will be flying, and hopefully we'll be on our feet at the end of it. So the Tempest and the Double Quadrille. Circle. And back. Sashay across. Inside star, outside don't forget. Switch and swing. Over. Inside star. Over. Back. Set. Go. That's turn. Alabama like your corner. Swing. You're out. Pass the corner, fellas. Don't work. Bullseye. Don't see those. Right hand star. Left hand back. Find jingle. Chain through the star. Chain along your line. Right side in, left side swing. Left side in, right side swing. Here we go. Your left side, right, left, right. All switch. Element left, corners off. Swing, my turn. Hands, ladies, start. And back. Line to side. Change to the side. Come out of there. Now, swing, throw. Side, find the head, ladies. Here we go. Come out. Hold hands, circle left. Drop, ladies.
So Ben, this is the 25th? No. What is it?
40th.
40th. It's the 40th. The sun has gotten to me, folks. 40 years of the Green Mountain Volunteers. And can you just say a little bit about how the group started?
Once upon a time, some of us used to travel in Europe for pleasure, and one year we went to Bulgaria. We went to an international festival, and at that point, it was primarily the Bulgarians from all over, and our guide said, you know, every couple of years we have this big festival. We invite people from all over the world. Why don't you bring a group? You have a group, don't you? And I said, uh-huh. We didn't. So we went home and got a bunch of people who are recreational, international dancers and Conference Square dancers and asked them if they wanted to go to Bulgaria, you know, and they said, sure. So we pulled the group together. We had people coming from up and down the East Coast. It's a lot of variety of people. And we really didn't know what to do. So we did this great thing. We made a medley of 10 dances, which is a little crazy to do. And we used two things as our models. One was the Ed Larkin dancers who were in Tunbridge for years and years and still exist. And the other was, when we went to this Bulgarian thing, there were these people sitting at a picnic table on the stage. You know, they took their blanket, put it out, opened the Schlivovitz, and they were drinking. And then they'd get up and start to sing. And every once in a while, someone would pick up an instrument and they'd start to play and people would dance. And I said, that's what we want to do. We want to show ourselves as people in the villages, different characters, different abilities, not just be up there and be professional dancers and singers. So, all amateurs, and we were well rehearsed, and everybody loved us because we were of the people. We danced to them. They understood us. Instead of being, you know, all sharp and stuff, we were kind of like rough around the edges. And that got people interested in doing this. And so for the next 20 or so years, we traveled all over the world representing America in a way that they weren't used to because they're used to the money and the military and all this. And we were in there as just folks.
That's right.
And it worked really well. So these people that you see here, up until 10 o'clock today, this morning, they hadn't danced together ever. All right?
Let's give them a big hand. Yeah. In this heat. Now, Ben, we don't have a lot of time. So I want to know, because this year is a very special year, and you're going to be doing something at the International Festival.
Yes, we run the Vermont International Festival at the fairgrounds every year, first weekend in December. And we're going to, you guys didn't tell you this, we're going to pull together a much longer show than this and ask other people who are out there. There's about 200 people who are in the group over time. Here we have people travel 500 miles to get here, crossed our wonderful international border, and made it.
Yes.
So, so it worked fine. So we're going to be doing something there, and hopefully a couple of other things
places
this year.
too.
We're going to try.
So, and you have a website?
We
have a Facebook site.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, look for the Green Mountain Volunteers Facebook site.
Vermont International Festival, North End Studios, Green Mountain Volunteers, they'll all give you that information.
So are you going to do another thing? Or?
Well, we're going to promenade off, and we're going to wave to the audience, and we're going to get out of our...
We have to keep on moving along. Let's give another big hand for the... All right. And this fellow over here is Brian Yarwood.
Oh, that's me.
Yes, Brian Yarwood. And so Brian's been helping out with the announcements.
Yeah, and largely being decorative. That's what I do best, in fact. Be decorative in this world. I would just like to point out that we have our new best friend of the show, Lily, who's here. She's up from Florida. She said she brought the weather with her. You can thank her. She really likes it, so it's okay. So, folks, I would just mention that the Great Vermont Barn Dance is a creation of Rick Palieri's brain and produced by all the friends that he could rope in. And our sponsors, again, we want to mention the Ear Trumpet Microphone Company. We have, boy, brains get spacey when they get hot, don't they? Randy Wood's Pick and Parlor, who made, of course, everybody's favorite steam whistle, and Dave Goodrich of Goodrich Inc., who created our banner, and, of course, the town of Heinsberg. With no further ado, please welcome back Hungry Town for one last song. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rick. Thanks, Brian. Thanks to everybody who participated and all the organizers and performers. Thank you so much.
All the volunteers, everyone.
Yes. So we're just going to finish up here with a little song that we wrote called The Rose or the Briar.
Sing along if you're so inclined.
What will you be tonight, my love? What will you be tonight? The rose or the briar? What will you be tonight, my love? What will you be tonight? The rose or the briar? I met her walking in the lane, her angel face so fair, but from her lips such words did come, the devil answered there. What will you be tonight, my love? What will you be tonight? The rose or the briar? What will you be tonight, my love? What will you be tonight? The rose or the briar? Her words so rough to other ears, to mine like kisses seem. How came my unsuspecting heart to love a girl so mean? What will you be tonight, my love? What will you be tonight? The rose or the briar? What will you be tonight, my love? What will you be tonight? The rose or the briar? My love grows up between the thorns in a garden rich and strange. It thrives upon the rocky soil and scorns the sun and rain. What will you be tonight, my love? What will you be tonight? The rose or the briar? What will you be tonight, my love? What will you be tonight? The rose or the briar? The rose or the briar?
Thank you. Oh, maybe one more? In the chat?
Hungry Town Road? Okay. 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 Thank you so much, Rick. And thank you guys all so much for braving the heat and sticking around. We really, really appreciate that. We don't get too many days like this in Vermont, so it's like takes a little bit of getting used to. So our name.
Enjoy it while you got it.
Enjoy it while you got it. The name of our group is Hungry Town, and I know sometimes people ask us, how did you get that name? And we got the name from a song that we wrote from a road that we saw when we were traveling around on one of our tours. And this road, Hungry Town Road.
It is in the state of Virginia.
Yeah.
But it does start with the letter V.
Yes. So this is the song that was inspired by an actual road in Virginia, and it later became our namesake. And the song is called Hungry Town Road.
Sing along if you're so inclined.
There's a road that leads out of this town, and one day gonna follow it down. I'm going down the Hungry Town Road till I reach the place I belong. I got married when I was just a young girl, and I never seen much of the world, but I learned how to fight with the ones that I love, and to pay for the words that I said. There's a road that leads out of this town, and one day gonna follow it down. I'm going down the Hungry Town Road till I reach the place I belong. Well, I saved and I worked every day, but I never seemed to put much away. It's too low a price for a life that's so dear, so I guess I'll be moving along. There's a road that leads out of this town, and one day gonna follow it down. I'm going down the Hungry Town Road till I reach the place I belong. I look up at the mountain so high that their treetops are brushing the sky, and I know there's a road that leads past those hills, but I wonder how far it will take me. There's a road that leads out of this town, and one day gonna follow it down. I'm going down the Hungry Town Road till I reach the place I belong. Till I reach the place I belong.
Thank you.
Okay. We're going to get the jam up here.
Sure.
Okay.
Gather around.
You guys want to come up?
We're going to get everybody up
Rick is
here.
on.
You have your fiddle? This is a wall of twang here. Well, luckily you don't have your banjo there. Well, everybody have a good time here? What do you think? It's wonderful to be together with friends and community right here in historic Heinsberg.
We only get 3 weeks of summer, so enjoy it while we have it. Sweat because you're not going to have to.
Get it out now.
That's right. Flush it all out.
So let's all join in.
Right?
I'm going down that road feeling bad. I'm going down that road feeling bad. I'm going down that road feeling bad. Lord, Lord, I ain't gonna be treated this way. I'm going where the chilly wind don't blow. I'm going where the chilly wind don't blow. I'm going where the chilly wind don't blow. Lord, Lord, I ain't gonna be treated this way. Help us now. I'm going down that road feeling bad. I'm going down that road feeling bad. I'm going down that road feeling bad. Lord, Lord, I ain't gonna be treated this way. There goes now. Well, they fed me on cornbread and beans. Well, they fed me on cornbread and beans. Well, they fed me on cornbread and beans. Lord, Lord, I ain't gonna be treated. Help us now. I'm going down that road feeling bad. I'm going down that road feeling bad. I'm going down that road feeling bad. Lord, Lord, I ain't gonna be treated this way. Where they say I'm a Dust Bowl refugee. Where they say I'm a Dust Bowl refugee. Where they say I'm a Dust Bowl refugee. Lord, Lord, I ain't gonna be treated this way. I'm going down that road feeling bad. I'm going down that road feeling bad. I'm going down that road feeling bad. Lord, Lord, I ain't gonna be treated this way. I'm going down that road feeling bad. I'm going down that road feeling bad. Come on now. I'm going down that road feeling bad. Lord, Lord, I ain't gonna be treated this way. I'm going where the water tastes like wine. I'm going where the water tastes like wine. I'm going where the water tastes like wine. Lord, Lord, I ain't gonna be treated. Double fiddles now. Well, those $2 shoes hurt my feet. Well, your $2 shoes hurt my feet. Well, your $2 shoes hurt my feet. Lord, Lord, I ain't gonna be treated this way. Last time, I'm going down that road feeling bad. I'm going down that road feeling bad. I'm going down that road feeling bad. Lord, Lord, I ain't gonna be treated this way. All right. Thank you for coming to the Great Vermont Barn Dance Show. And we had such a good time, and everybody worked so hard to put this together. I hope you had a good time. I really thank you all for coming out on such a hot day, and the Green Mountain Volunteers for all dressing up so nicely
in these 90-degree temperatures. So this is Rick Palieri wishing you a farewell, and let's bring it on home one more time as they fade out. I'm going down.